Why southern states are opposing the revenue sharing model as proposed by the Finance Commission?
Tell me, what is the difference between an infant and a fetus?
Can you tell me what was Jaipur's role in the revolt of 1857?
May I come in?
Yes, Kavit.
Good afternoon, sirs. Good afternoon.
Please be seated.
Thank you.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Yes, my name is Rhythm Kataria. I'm a law graduate aspiring to be a civil servant. I come from the pink city of Jaipur, Rajasthan. It's situated in the historically and culturally significant state of Rajasthan. I did my schooling, 10th and 12th from there. Thereafter, I went to pursue my legal education from Lucknow, which is again a very historically important city. And my hobbies include long distance running, Himalayan trekking, and mentoring underprivileged children, sir.
Rhythm, you have a very unique name. It's very hard to find this name. What was the meaning of your name in Hindi?
Sir, it means lay, ya continuity, which is why my mother named me Rhythm. She has a very keen interest in music, and that is why I think she named me Rhythm. That is the reason behind that.
Wonderful. Rhythm, tell me, we have a finance commission in the country.
Yes, sir.
Why there is a need for a finance commission?
Sir, Finance Commission, which is currently the 16th Finance Commission, is operating and constituted recently, headed by Dr. Arvind Bandaria. It is needed for devolution of funds within the country, because it gives a recommendation to the union government on the devolution of funds, sir.
Okay, and why southern states are opposing the revenue sharing model as proposed by the Finance Commission?
Sir, the revenue sharing model of the Finance Commission is based on certain criteria, whether it be the vertical devolution or the horizontal devolution. And based on the criteria, one of the criteria is population. And since the northern states, example UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, MP, have a larger population, they invariably get a larger share in the revenues. And that is a concern among the southern states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra to some extent, sir.
How far their concerns are justified according to you?
Sir, the concerns according to him are justified because finances play a key role in any governance system in the country, because finances are needed for implementing the schemes, also to execute and properly take feedback for the schemes, sir. And if the finances are lacking due to the population measure, since they were able to control population much better than the northern states today, their concerns are largely valid. However, there are other criteria which have been devolved by the Finance Commission, not just the population measures, other measures being tax or fiscal efforts, ecological footprint, etc., which are also going to benefit the southern states. So there is some sort of equality there. However, the concerns are valid, sir, in my opinion.
Can you suggest any model by which it could turn out to a win-win situation?
Sir, according to me, the model which can be brought forward is with respect to how we are able to implement the scheme of population control. Since population is a major concern within the country of India, and he is seeing that they are the largest population now in the world, population is going to be a problem, or how do you use it, demographic bomb or the dividend as we call it now. So if we are able to convert it in demographic dividend and skilling initiative, if states are able to implement better, in my opinion, Finance Commission can take into consideration the skilling, employment measures to devolve shares. So that can be a win-win situation where we are able to control the population while effectively use the population also to the country's benefit.
What do you understand by the term delimitation process?
Sir, delimitation is a constitutional process given under the Constitution, where a delimitation commission is set up, and it is asked to particularly devolve the parliamentary constituency or the constituency for the state based on the population criterion and the other criteria that they take into consideration.
So we in the southern states are opposing this also?
Sir, the concern is with respect to the larger number of constituencies that will be coming up and the larger share in the parliament or the state legislature.
One final question from my side. We are a student of law, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Why our constitution is considered as a lawyer's paradigm?
Sir, it was a concern amongst the early constitution makers, where early legal luminaries also called it a lawyer's paradise because of the jargons and the lengthier part of the constitution that was devolved by the constitution framers. However, there was a purpose behind it, sir, in my opinion. The constitutional framers did not just do it in a spirit of jargonizing it. Rather, they wanted to comprehensively cover all provisions that could be imagined at that particular point in time. So, sir, that is why it came out to be a lengthier constitution. However, there have been recent efforts from the Honorable Supreme Court as well as the Honorable Government where they have been trying to simplify the constitution. Sir, I would like to quote an example. We are celebrating 75 years of constitution this year. And various Supreme Court initiatives like Suvas, Supace, etc. have tried to multilingual judgments that way. So this is one effort where we are trying to simplify the constitution and make it reach larger public, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Rhythm,
Yes, sir.
what are Lok Adalats?
One, Lok Adalats are alternate dispute resolution mechanisms established under Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. And they provide an alternate mechanism for settling petty disputes, petty cases, etc.
So, what kind of power is vested with this Lok Adalats?
Ma'am, Lok Adalats are vested as the final court of appeal in that scenario where no appeal is allowed in the courts if the Lok Adalat matter is settled and accepted by the parties. So they have the power of a civil court where they're able to settle disputes between the parties.
How important is free legal aid in our country?
And free legal aid is one of the cornerstones of legal system, according to me, as envisaged under Article 39A also, brought in by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. It serves as a mechanism for the poor and needy of the country to approach the courts and have quality legal aid or quality legal assistance, so I call it. I was also part of this initiative, ma'am, in my college times, where I was heading the legal aid clinic, because under the NALSA Act or the Legal Services Act, every law school in the country is supposed to have a legal services cell. So I was heading that, and I'm fortunate enough that I was able to benefit and gain experience out of it, ma'am.
So, it's a kind of empowering to the rural population, especially, and also to the people who are not able to afford legal services. Right. But you must be aware with the term Gini coefficient or Gini index. Why it is important?
Ma'am, Gini coefficient measures the inequality within the country. Right now, to my best knowledge, it is 0.63. The Gini coefficient today, which suggests that we are not a highly unequal society, because the digit 1 or 0, the index calculates digits between these. 0 is perfectly equal and 1 is perfectly unequal. So we are somewhere in between. We are trying to curb the inequality within the country. However, we are still lagging, in my opinion, where we are not implementing schemes envisaged to curb inequality in a proper manner, ma'am.
So, that is very true that we have income disparity, So, what are the ways, if leave aside the implementation way, at the policy level, what are the, points envisaged that could actually bring down the income disparity?
None. With respect to the income disparity, 3 particular mechanisms come to my mind. One is the fiscal policies efforts, and in that there has been a discussion with respect to the wealth tax and inheritance tax recent times, where various economists like Thomas Piketty have given the solution of imposing wealth tax, which was abolished in 2015 in the Indian scenario. Second is the monetary policy tools, ma'am, that are envisaged by the RBI, where we are imposing the interest rate, bank rate, etc. in those. And there are qualitative tools in the third respect, where moral persuasion and moral suasion are used by the RBI. So these are the 3 mechanisms that we can use to curb income inequality in the country, ma'am.
Fine. How does Hindu Succession Act empowers a woman?
Ma'am, under the Hindu Succession Act in 2005, there was an amendment brought out where women and daughters in particular, which were not given property share earlier, now are enabled to claim their rightful property share in the father's property or their grandfather's property, if that be the case. And they are able to claim it now by the amendment of 2005. So that is how, in my opinion, it empowers the female to claim a rightful share in the property, because they are an equal entity. Whether be the son or the daughter, they are both the children of the father, and they should.
What are the 2 schools which actually guides this, this act, the Mitakshara and the Dayabhaga school? What it actually talks about?
I'm not aware of the exact difference between the 2 right now. However, to my best knowledge, I can take an attempt that the Mitakshara school, which was prevalent in the Bengal region, while the Dayabhaga was the other part in northern India and etc. So they both have different views with respect to women's claim in the property, where one school says that women should not be allowed to claim a share in the property, however the other supports the claim. So
My final question to you, Rhythm. How to make people, common people, more aware with the various interventions made in the field of law so that they are more empowered? How to make common people empowered?
ma'am, I would like to trace back to the legal aid and the awareness initiatives that NALSA, State Legal Services Authorities, and District Legal Services Authorities taken measured, where they're able to disseminate the information not just through use of traditional means of communication, but also now imbibe the technology. Ma'am, we have seen that in the pandemic, courts adopted highly the virtual court system. There, we are able to not just solve the cases in urban scenarios, but also from rural areas which were pending for years now. So I think this is one way where DLSA, NLS, NALSA, and SALSA are able to use technology to disseminate legal awareness now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhythm, earlier in your introduction, you told us that you come from the vibrant state of Rajasthan.
Yes.
Can you think of certain attributes of the state which you are not very proud of?
Sir, to my knowledge, and it actually comes first to the mind is with respect to the patriarchal setup that is still prevalent, and second is a child marriage, which is seen in some pockets of Rajasthan today. So these are the two attributes that I would like. I'm not too proud of about my state.
Okay, so both these problems, specifically talking about issues related to child marriage, we have enacted sufficient legislations. We have societal safeguards in this regard. But why such practices are still continuing?
So in my opinion, it is a larger debate between traditions and the law today. Traditions in rural areas and especially tribal hamlets dictate that child marriage is something that they have seen as the way of their cultural and traditions. So this is where they see that there is a conflict between traditions and law, and since tradition is imbibed in their society so deeply rooted that they're following the traditions more than the law, as you had already envisaged there.
Okay, so you talked about your tribal societies. A very unique and positive aspect of these tribal societies is when we talk about the sex ratio. The sex ratio in these tribal communities is often found to be better when compared to the so-called non-tribal and urban societies. So what are some of the learnings that we can take from these societies and make our mainstream society more equitable?
Sir, to answer the first part, what the learning with respect to child marriage or sex ratio in general that we can imbibe is with respect to how they encourage and not practice problems like female infanticide, female feticide, etc. in the tribal societies, because for tribal societies, all of them they see as equals. Second, I would like to quote an example here of the Bishnoi community of Rajasthan, sir, which is again a tribal community, but take environment very seriously in their way of life, where they're not just respecting the environment, even to the extent of worshipping the environment.
Okay, so talking about issues related to infanticide and feticide, first of all, tell me what is the difference between an infant and a fetus?
To my knowledge, infant is a child who's from... Sir, I'm not able to recall the exact difference between...
Okay, no problem. We have a piece of legislation which goes by the name of PCPNDT Act that prohibits sex-selective abortions. Do you think that this act is now obsolete, or maybe we should think about bringing in reforms to make this act more meaningful?
So to my knowledge, it is not obsolete, because sex selection therapies or practices like these are still prevalent in various parts of India, where parents, especially tribal people, are would like to...
Obsolete with regards to its implementation and effectiveness, because you see, with the advancement in the medical science and technology, there are new ways of identifying the sex of the unborn baby, and the provisions that these acts contain are not maybe standing the test of time right now.
So yes, there can be a need for modification of the act, where we are able to include more such therapies within the act. However, completely scrapping the act is not something that I would go forward with, because it since the act envisages a socialistic goal, where gender equality is envisaged as one of the objectives, I think it has to stand where it is needed the most, sir.
Okay, my last question to you: do you believe in aliens?
Sir, I do not.
Okay. Consider a hypothetical scenario that there is a situation where people on Earth are fearing an alien invasion, and I see from your DAP that you have won some prize in negotiator as well. and you are the chief negotiator from the human beings which are present on Earth. What arguments would you like to give to these alien species so that they should not attack Earth?
It is a very interesting scenario, so to say, sir. However, as a chief negotiator, my first duty is to protect the humanity as a whole if there is an attack or invasion from the aliens. So I would like to trade certain resources of the Earth with the aliens, if that be, because if there is a scenario where aliens are attacking us or invading the Earth, there is some sort of weapons or some ammunition that will be using, which can be harmful to the humanity in general. So certain resources that are looking for, or because there is a purpose behind their invasion, I would like to understand that first. And if I am able to zero down on the resources that they need from the Earth, and if there is a fair share of trade or a fair share of negotiation that I can do with respect to that, I'll do that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Rhythm, you have done your LLB from the so-called, as per in your language, the cultural city Lucknow.
Yes, sir.
Lucknow is also known as Same Awadh. Why is it so?
Sir, to my best knowledge, it is known as Shame Awadh because the Avdi culture there is the most prominent since it was part of the Awadh region in the erstwhile British India, and also earlier than that, where Nawab Wajid Ali Shah was the ruler there. So I think that is where it is. It has derived its name of as the capital or the lamp of Awadh, Shame Awadh, sir.
What was going on there and the time that it being said that Shame Awadh? Clarify more about Shame Awadh.
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact why was it used there.
Okay. Anyway, your hobby in terms of mentoring underprivileged class children,
Yes, sir.
and you have done law. So discuss about some child rights mentioned in the Constitution.
Sir, the child rights starting from the Article 21A, which gives the right to education to every child within the age of 6 to 14 years of age, sir. It mandates that all children in that age group will be given the right as a fundamental right here to education, where they're enrolled in all government schools or wherever they can take education from. Secondly, there are child rights with respect to the DPSPs, that is Directive Principles of State Policy, and within the fundamental duties also, which mandates a parent to send their children or give them education under the 0 to 6 years of age group, sir. So these are the child rights mentioned under the Constitution itself, sir.
In the pastry, what articles it denotes?
Sir, I'm not able to recall the exact article right now.
Okay. Trekking and mountaineering. What is the basic difference?
Sir, the basic difference is with respect to the use of gear and the ascent, the steepness of the climbing. If it is a technical climb where use of mountain boots or gallops or harbingers are used, it is generally known as trekking, as mountaineering, sir. However, trekking is a rather simple ascent where people take it as a activity for rejuvenation and for maybe for refurbishment also, sir, at times.
Section 144. You must be well aware about.
Of the erstwhile CRPCs?
Yes, yes. And now, what has been it in the BNS?
So the exact section number I'm not able to recall. However, since it mandated a curfew in that respect, where if there is a law and order situation within the district or the state, the district magistrate was empowered, or the if it is a commissionerate system, a commissioner of police was empowered to impose the same, sir.
My last question. Suppose I goes to the police station to file an FIR, but I got rejected from there. Then what all other means are there by which I can get my first information report registered?
Sir, according to the BNSS now, there are two provisions that you can approach to. One is approaching the superintendent of police in that district by writing a letter and informing about the circumstances why the police personnel or the SHO here refused to register your FIR. Second is approaching the magistrate, who will take cognizance of the offence and initiate inquiry or direct the police officer to register your FIR, sir.
You just discussed about magistrate, la?
Yes, sir.
So there happens to be two types of magistrate: judicial magistrate and the executive magistrate.
Yes, sir.
What differences are there?
So judicial magistrate functions on the judicial side, where he's empowered or she's empowered to take decisions, whether be it with respect to the judiciary or the judicial setup in a district. However, the executive magistrate who also happens to be a district magistrate in that respect, who's an IAS officer generally, is empowered to take the land matters, revenue matters in that respect, sir.
Okay, who do we call as the first class judicial magistrate? First class judicial magistrate.
Magistrate, sir, he or she is a person in the hierarchy of lower judiciary, where he's just above the second class magistrate and just below the chief judicial magistrate, sir. So in the judicial hierarchy, he's placed or she's placed there, sir.
Or it's the chief judicial magistrate. Who do we call as the first class judicial magistrate? Because thereafter we call it as like district judge or ADJ. The magistrate converts into the judges.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I can see from your DAF that you were asked to join the Central Armed Police Forces.
Yes.
Why did you not?
Now I'm yet to get my appointment letter. So I'm awaiting my appointment letter from the Ministry of Home Affairs.
All right. So what choice do you have? As in, if you clear this and the interview that you're giving, what will you choose?
Ma'am, I would be choosing civil services depending on the service that I get. If I'm getting the All India service, I will be choosing the All India service. However, if I'm not getting the same, I will reattempt the examination while being in the police forces now.
That's great. That's good. All right. So since you mentioned that you're from Jaipur and you talked about the history of Jaipur, can you tell me what was Jaipur's role in the revolt of 1857?
Ma'am, I'm not aware of the exact role right now of Jaipur within the revolt of 1857.
So there's this Places of Worship Act 1991, which is quite in vogue right now. Why do you think the Supreme Court is reviewing this act? It was already established in 1991. So what is the point of going back to it? Why do you think Supreme Court is doing it?
Ma'am, the particular concern raised by the petitioners is that it bars judicial review, which is a basic structure within the Indian Constitution, as has been envisaged by various judgments. So it bars a judicial review because it places an arbitrary date, that is a cutoff date of 15th August 1947. And before that, if there are any disputes registered, it does not take into that consideration. There are only two exceptions given to the Act. One is the Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi dispute, and second is the ANASR Act, and archaeological monuments recognized under that as the exception therein.
So since you said that you're a good negotiator, if you were given to defend or to go or for or against this act, what will your take be and how will you go about it? So if you were in front of the Supreme Court and you were asked to either defend the act or go against it, what is your take?
Ma'am, I would defend the Act because in my opinion, whether be it the historical wrongs, there has to be a line drawn somewhere. We cannot go back to the history of prehistoric times because Indian Constitution mentions the essential principles of unity, harmony and fraternity, which we need to abide by as citizens if we are to move forward in the 21st century. So I would like to defend the Act because there has to be line drawn somewhere. And the framers, in their best wisdom, the legislators at that time, thought that 15th August was the right time because that was the time that we got independent. And that is where we see the dawn of new era or dawn of new India. So I think I would like to defend the Act on the same lines that it does bar judicial review to some extent. However, it is necessary in the better spirit of the Constitution as a whole, ma'am.
My last question. If this is an established norm, the Places of Worship Act, why is it that people, I'm not talking about the Supreme Court, why are people going against it again and again? Why is it so much in vogue today? Why not maybe 15 years back or 20 years back?
Ma'am, to my best knowledge, and in my opinion, the people are going against the Act because they feel some sort of sentiment with what they've been through in the times right now or whether be it earlier, where because religion is very individual and imbibed within the presence of individual thought and speech and expression also. So since India is a multi-religious society, every person who's entitled to practice their faith feels some sort of discordant note with this Act. And that is where they are going against the Act, and Supreme Court now is taking cognizance of the same, ma'am.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Ritu, you may be aware that US President-elect Donald Trump has relighted global tensions with his provocative comments on acquiring Greenland, then your declaring Panama Canal and annexing Canada, making it as 51st state. So, what is your opinion? Is it serious or just simply hogging the headlines?
Sir, Donald Trump, President-elect Mr. Donald Trump has made headlines world over with respect to his outrageous claims to some extent. Certain countries have been dismayed, and allies in particular, whether be it Greenland, Canada, etc. Sir, in my opinion, it is not a serious claim because, again, in international law, every country's sovereignty is of paramount importance, sir. Whether be it Greenland, whether be it Canada, every country will.
What is America's interest in Greenland?
Sir, America's interest, as has been pronounced by Mr. Donald Trump also, is the security of America, the national security principle, because Russian and Chinese ships allegedly are surveying the Atlantic Ocean, and that is where they see that Greenland can be a good base for them to establish their security bases and have it as a ally nation in that respect, sir.
Why is the USA wants to reclaim Panama Canal?
So there are two reasons behind it, as has been proclaimed. One is that they are charging too much. That is the economic cost borne by the USA, because majority of the traffic within the Panama Canal is of the US, whether be it from the east coast to the west coast or the west coast to the east coast. Second is that it is manned by the Chinese soldiers, as has been allegedly proclaimed. So that is where US perceives the threat, that it can be under the threat due to national security reasons there.
And what are the issues with the Canada? Younger brother of the USA?
The issues with Canada is with respect to the tariff charges, sir. Again, the economic concerns, because Canada charges a lot of tariffs allegedly by imposing higher charges to the US. So that is the concern there, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. It was nice interacting with you. Thank you so much. You may now. Sit on the jump.
Thank you.
When your interview with you?
So it was on 5th February, but now on the date has been changed to 8th February.
8th February, yes, sir. Okay, which return is this for you?
Second attempt, sir.
Second and first return.
Yes.
How did you find your performance, and how did you find your interactions with us today?
So it was actually a very pleasant one. I was expecting these questions on those lines, but like for example, the Shami Awad question or the ma'am's question with respect to 1857 revolt.
Also,
New.
Jaipur has no contribution to the 1857.
So I did not know that. So, but then it was a good interaction.
But it's wonderful. There's always better to say no than getting to an area of guesswork.
Yes.
So conjectures is one thing which is strict no. Absolutely no. Even if you don't know 50% of answers, be candid enough to admit I'm not aware. Because it's a test of your personality, not the test of your knowledge. Knowledge has already been tested through earlier examinations. So we are called in person to see various aspects of your personality. And the first and foremost is your personal integrity. So there cannot be any compromise with your ethical values. That is very important. And how the board will come to know about your ethical values? The way you speak, there has to be honesty of purpose in all your statements. Yes. Once you have demonstrated honesty of purpose in all your statements, you have won the world. There is absolutely no problem. Your views are very balanced on everything. We are in 25 minutes time, whatever little was possible, we could ask you questions on a variety of issues.
Yes, sir.
But you are well prepared to face the interview. From our side, we are not going to give you any suggestion as such, because you are a perfect material for the sales services. And I don't think you are going to get anything less than 180. If luck helps you, Lady Luck smiles upon you, you may get 200 also. But 180 is our assessment, is the benchmark you should be getting. It all depends how you have done on your in your men's examination. You see, you are a student of law. Yes. Two things can happen. One is that entire discussion reversed on the law only. Another thing is that was no discussion of law, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So prepare other areas, particularly the economy of India. Economy is very important from all perspective, because we are trying to become the third largest economy. What all steps the government has been taking to achieve that ambition, isn't it? So in that context, whatever initiatives have been taken in the different field, so that you have to have a very clear idea of that. Somebody may ask you about the IT field, somebody may ask you about the electric vehicle field, and I will just by way of illustration, I am telling you.
Yes, sir.
And then budget, and because you will be going on by that time budget will be out.
Yes.
Some discussions on the budget will definitely be there. So I don't know what type of discussion, but it will. You see, we are waiting for third days of big ticket projects,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So because if we have to achieve, we have to go for big ticket projects. So what are the hurdles? What number one? What are the areas where you can think of that if these areas are addressed, then probably we will be able to achieve the target. The number one is spelling out the area. Number two, the hurdles, existing hurdles, be it labor laws, be it you are a student of law, so many rules and laws and acts have been declared redundant. Yes, what else is required? Why you are not able to acquire land? Because land acquisition is one of the very important aspects of our any moderation and all that. So what are the problem issues with the land acquisition? So briefly you should be aware, because you are a student of law also.
Yes.
Because and every second, third case goes to the court. Be it compensation, be it rehabilitation, be it resettlement. These are three major issues in the acquisition of land. So what are the issues involved in that? Labor laws, I had told you. Banking sector, the first is already happening, but more is required to be done in the banking sector. So these are a few illustrative examples I have given you,
Yes, sir.
but it's an exhaustive list. So prepare on that. Law, you are very comfortable. I don't think that you will have any problems. Law, your replacement of IPC, CRPC, and evidence and new set of rules and laws. So why BSS, BSS, and evidence according to that Sanghita, that Bharati Saksha Adhiniyam, what neat changes have been brought in? Yes, because one school of thought is that it's old wine in a new bottle, isn't it? Other school of thought is duly supported by the government, says that is a paradigm shift. Yes. So what are your so some of the major changes which have happened, apart from, you see, this 420 of IPC has been changed by this or that, those are factual questions. So even if you are not able to answer, doesn't matter. Because if they are in a pocket book, everybody open, you will understand what is what. But opinion based, yeah, what has changed and all that. That is third issue. Then international affairs, we have briefly touched upon India. President Donald Trump only, but issues you are aware. Yes, issues you are aware. Some discussions maybe they are on the cricket diplomacy. Why did we not agree to play with Pakistan in Pakistan? So strategically, diplomatically, what is your view? What is a correct decision on the part of government of India, or do you think otherwise? That kind of an argument. Then minimum, our Prime Minister's podcast, you must have heard about that. Minimum government, maximum governance. He has explained in no uncertain terms. What does it mean by that? So just read that, because normally we say that minimum government means that less the size of the government. It's not less size of the government, less interference on the government, because you have created a more ministry to achieve your goal. So on the face of it, it appears to be ironical, but it is not so. Otherwise, law, I think our Honorable Chief Justice had retired last year only. So he has given landmark judgments that we study on. So some of the judgments you should remember, and as a lawyer, whether you like decriminalizing Article 377, do you agree with this view or not? Why? And on what basis, basis is grounds this verdict was given? Similarly, you are decriminalizing adultery. So these are just electoral bonds is third important issue. So those things, Sabi Mala is fourth issue. But 7, 8 very important judgments are there. Yes. Go through those judgments, and you must have gone through. First, remember on what basis the judgment has been given. That's it. Because the basis can be questioned, but what was the basis for the judgment? Yes. Otherwise, you're fully prepared. I mean, I've just given exhausted this thing from my own experience, but I think nothing to worry. Absolutely nothing to worry. You are a wonderful candidate, already ready to face the interview kind of a candidate, and go with your positive body language, smile on face, never ever compromising with your ethical values.
Yes, sir.
Just leave it to the Lord. He'll take care. If you have any specific question in your mind, feel free to ask.
Sir, I think on the 8th, it is the elections outcome.
So that is another issue. As I asked you about the constitution being lawyers' paradise, similarly, state central state relations, prospective Delhi is another issue. And incidentally, there also there is a famous judgment delivered by Justice Chandrachud on the distribution of powers with the left-wing governor and
Chief Minister.
So he should be aware of. He should be aware of that.
Yes.
And political discourse too doesn't mean anything. Political discourse and somebody rudimentary questions may be asked. ये agreement में क्या MOU में क्या अंतर होता है ये बताओ हमको. Law of torts is why it is not catching up in our country, whereas in the Western country this is established practice. What is? So those are very general type of questions, or justice delayed, justice denied, and all those things here nowhere. And one question which we have asked is very relevant: where poor man will go to access justice? That is very important.
True.
Otherwise, subjects, if you sit with us, we can find out 10 more subjects. That is not like that. Importantly, that you are a wonderful candidate. Have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, and you will do. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
First.